Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo and today I'll be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. Let's get straight into the questions. The first question asks, I'm looking down on my iPad, by the way, this is what I keep like everything on. The first question is the best book that you've read so far in 2023. It's very hard for me to narrow down favorites. Like I don't have a favorite anything besides like a favorite color. I don't have no favorite food, I don't have no favorite movie, no favorite show. So I have 4 today. The first one being The Balance of the Fates by Raquel Raylin. I actually heard about this through TikTok. She was marketing it on her TikTok, and I immediately went to Amazon and bought it, and I finished it that day that I received it in the mail. This is really good. I'm gonna read the back because I'm not really that good at summaries. When her grandmother falls ill, Lucia Dole Auclair has to leave her sheltered life and travel to Irene Academy of Mystic to compete in the Triune. In 3 events, she will compete against vampires and werewolves to take her grandmother's place as the guardian vessel of a destructive celestial of magic and prove her worth as heir to her royal coven. But her heart is pulled in 2 directions when she falls for her rival, Adelaide, a troublesome vampire who doesn't play by the rules, forcing Lucia to choose between the traditions that hold the covens together and the passion that could tear apart her world. It was really good to me. I love a good sapphic romance. This is like one of the few books that I actually own physically. I don't buy a lot of physical books. I blend a lot of my books from my library, either in person, through Libby, or on the Hoopla app. The next best book of this year that I've read is Heartless by Elsie Silver. I've said in a previous video that like Elsie Silver can really not do much wrong by me. Even her 3-star reads for me are impeccable. I love her writing style. I love her characters. She really makes you care about the family unit and everyone that's been mentioned. The third book that was my best read of the year was Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I really enjoyed it. At some point I did feel like it was a tad bit too long, but I was eating it up every second. So like 10% of me felt that way. And then the last best book that I read this far, I don't have these in any particular order, is Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl by Joya Goffney. I really just enjoyed the characters of Reggie and Monique and just like the drama that was in there with her ex. If you've grown up in like a Black Christian household, this is not very far off on the experience. Whenever I can connect to a character anyway, it really makes me enjoy the book a little bit more. So question number 2 asks, the best sequel you've read so far in 2023. I wrote down the Windy City series. That's kind of hard to say. The Windy City series by Liz Tomford. The first book in the series is a hockey romance, and then the second book is a basketball romance. I really enjoyed both of the couples in their own different ways. If you should know, Ryan Shay is one of my crushes for sure. How could he not be? If you haven't read the book, read the book please, so then we can have a conversation about Ryan Shay. Just Ryan Shay. And I even enjoyed Stevie and Xander's relationship, even though at the beginning he kind of got on my nerves. Because I'm like, just let this girl do her job. Yeah, that was the best sequel that I read this year. The third question asks, new release you haven't read but want to. First I have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, which everyone and their mom is talking about. I would definitely like to read it and see what I think. And then the next book that I have written down is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I really enjoyed The Bodyguard. I don't have that anywhere on this tag, which is surprising. But The Bodyguard, I believe I gave 5 stars this year. I really enjoyed it. Like, I love a strong female main character. Like, I really do. And her being the bodyguard was just chef's kiss. I really liked Catherine Center's writing style. I don't know anything about that book. I haven't read any synopsis, anything about it. So I'm just excited to even just see what it's gonna be about and read it. The fourth question is most anticipated release for the second half of 2023. It is Things We Left Behind by Lucy Score. It's the 3rd one of the Knock 'Em Out series. So there's Things We Never Got Over, and then Things We Hide from the Light, I believe. So I actually own Things We Never Got Over, and I gave this a 5 star. This was a Christmas gift from my best friend to me, and I love this book so much. Not that I hear like really bad things about the book, but like I have read some things. I've heard some things, and I'm just like, girl, just have fun. Just have fun. We're all just having fun. So there's that one. And then the second one, the one with Lena and Nash, I gave it a 3. I really don't care to read about people that are police personally. It's not something that's like enjoying for me. Like, that's not entertainment to me. Yeah, Lena was cool though, but also I didn't feel like the book was necessary. I just didn't care enough. I am excited for the 3rd one because it's between Lucy/Lucian and Sloane. Also, have you ever realized how many people use Sloane as a book character? I feel like I've read at least 4 books, like even within this year, that have had the female main character named Sloane. The 5th question asks, what is your biggest disappointment? And my first one would be Hooked by Emily McIntyre.
Come on, eat, eat, eat! What are you doing? Why aren't you eating?
I believe this was my first dark romance, and it just didn't live up to what I expected. But also, I have never been a fan of Peter Pan. And that's where I think I fucked up at, because I don't care about him getting a happy ending. Well, it was Captain Hook, right? Damn. I don't know. This was just not that good. It just seemed like a lot of piled on shit and trauma, and it just didn't seem like good. And then the next disappointment that I had, which is like a stretch, like this is really a reach for me to say this was like a really big disappointment, because it wasn't a huge disappointment, but it was The Wall of Winnipeg by Mariana Zapata. And now that I know that she is the queen of slow burn, I probably wouldn't have gave it that review. I am typically on the fence about slow burn because I am someone that like really wants to get to the point. Like that's why I don't like mystery. I don't like thriller because I get very like spooked very easily. So like if things are ominous and shit like that, like I'm probably not gonna read it. Mystery, I'm just like so pissed off because I'm just like, okay, what the fuck? What's going on? What's going on? Like I need to know what's going on. And that's another reason why I read so fast, because I need to know what's going on. But the pacing was very slow in this book. It was like a huge book. I don't remember how many pages, but I feel like it was maybe 500. And I felt like there was not a lot of heat between the two main characters, and it just really dragged out. I definitely would like to read more books by Mariana Zapata. Next books that I really want to read are going to be All Roads Lead Here from Lukov, and then there's this other one, Culty, which I've never read a soccer romance. I think that's soccer, so I'd like to see, because I've recently, like, I don't care about sports at all. Like, I don't follow sports, but sports romances, they really get me. No, they really get me. I've been getting into more hockey romances, and I'm not disappointed at all. So the next question asks, what is the biggest surprise? Your biggest book surprise? I didn't write this in question form, so I'm like, I took the questions from the internet, but like I wrote them in my own notes, so I don't even know how it's actually supposed to be asked, so I'll probably put that somewhere on the screen. My biggest surprise was Final Offer by Lauren Asher. I just didn't think that I was gonna like this one better than any book, and the way it started off rocky, I just didn't expect much from it, so I think that's why it really surprised me. I really enjoyed Alana and Cal's dynamic. I really did. I liked how Cal got along with her daughter, and I really just enjoyed the talks about how hard it is loving someone with an addiction, like the ups and the downs, because that's so real. I almost forgot another book, like the series, I forgot what it's called. It might just be When in Rome. But the next biggest surprise was When in Rome and Practice Makes Perfect, because I didn't think I was gonna like them so much. I believe I gave them both 5 stars, and I kept like going over what I was talking about in my little reading journal entry, and just like my criteria that it has to meet for certain ratings. And I was really trying to shake that 5 star, but like they both got 5 stars for me, and I'm not mad about it. I've made peace with it. Yeah, they really surprised me. So the next question asks, who is your new favorite author? I have 3 new favorite authors, and I don't know what I'm going to base favorite author by. I know some people will rate their favorite authors by reading 3 of their books, and if they get 5 stars on all 3, then they become their favorite author. I don't know that I'll be that strict about it. If I enjoy maybe 2 books and I like really enjoy them and your writing style, I'll probably consider. But again, it's very hard for me to pick favorites, because I can really enjoy a book and not consider it, you know? So the first one that I have is Kristen Callahan. I read her 2 books, Make It Sweet and then Dear Enemy, and I really enjoyed those. Those are both 5-star reads for me. Next author would be Tessa Bailey. I read her A Vine Mess series. Those are the only 2 books that I've read by Tessa Bailey, and she really took it there for me. I don't know, something about the way she wrote was homey to me and comfortable. And then lastly, for new favorite author, I have Joya Goffney. And Joya Goffney, I read her Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry and then Confessions of an Alleged Good Girl, and I enjoyed both of those. All 3 of these authors, I love their writing style so much that if they made anything else, I'd pick it up. Literally anything else, I'd read. So the next question is really fun. It is newest fictional crush. Again, I cannot choose just one. I have 5. The first one being Malachi from Honey and Spice. He was just so charming. In real life, he would have me blushing. I wanted him real bad. He is just so patient, and like, I feel like he was raised well. Like, he had a good upbringing. I loved him down, and I had pictured him a certain way, and he looked really good. So my next fictional crush was Duke from The Sculptor. I really loved him. As someone that has had like, who has and still does have like body image issues, to hear a man be so expressive about how much he loved her body, and it wasn't like a crude, like objectifying way, it was very refreshing. He was very determined but not in like an overly pushy way. He was so sassy too. Like, I feel like he ate this one letter up to this, I don't know what the guy's name is, but like the antagonist. Yeah, we don't like him, so I don't even know his name. Not that I remember a lot of people's names anyway, but I really don't remember his name. Yeah, Duke. I liked him. So then my next one would be Gemma from the Fiancé farce. And honestly, this was all lust. I'm just gonna say that Gemma is not my normal type for women, but I feel like she knows how to fuck. She definitely knows some good positions, but I wanted her. That's all you need to know. Next question. Oh, not next question. Let's see. I have 3 more crushes, really. The next are like a set of people. It is Lucia. I don't know if it's Lucia or Lucia. I think I was pronouncing it Lucia when I was reading it. But Lucia and Adelaide from The Balance of the Fates. This book right here that I said earlier. This is Lucia and this is Adelaide. And I want both of them together. Together. And my last fictional crush is Cage from Ruthless Creatures. He was just everything to me. I don't know. He just had this like brooding tough guy thing, and like sometimes that works. Sometimes I'm really like turned off by that, but like if it's done in a certain way, like, it just has to be, it has to make sense, you know? And he was passionate. Yeah. The next question is newest favorite character. First, for newest favorite character, I have Carter from Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry. That's this guy right here. I felt like he was way too patient for her, but he was just a really good kid. He was great. I have no bad things to say about him. So this doesn't really count as one character, but I'm gonna say it does. Everyone that's in the Wash Day Diaries. This was by Jamila Rouser and Robin Smith. And I have never read a graphic novel, I don't think. If I did, it was a while ago, like early high school. Unless you count like Captain Underpants. And that Smile book. Was that cartoon? I mean graphic novel? I may have read a graphic novel before. But this is just beautiful. I'm just gonna do like a little one of these. It's just so beautiful. Like, it really highlighted so many like Black experiences. What it is to deal with like man drama, depression, anxiety. Literally, Wash Day Diaries. Like, if you are a Black woman and you have to spend like a whole day washing your hair, you know. Whenever I'm washing my hair and I'm doing stuff, I'm not going anywhere all day. And I know that. I know not to plan anything on the days I need to wash my hair. It's a whole event. Like, it's a workout. It's everything. My hands be pruny. My back be hurting. I be tired. Dehydrated. You can't wear your glasses. They'll fog up. There's just so much. So it was really nice to read that. This was also a gift from my best friend for Christmas. Another one of my favorite characters was Hannah from The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I really enjoyed that she was a female bodyguard because I hadn't read that before, and I love the bodyguard trope and I love women. So I was just like, you did something with that. She was just such a good character to read. Like, the way she had to put the men in their place, and like I think she flipped someone over, like slung him onto the ground or something like that. Because she's like, you're not gonna act like I don't know what I'm talking about. What do they call them? EPAs? Executive Protection Agent? She's that EPA. Do not play with her. And then another one of my favorite characters was Henry from The Icebreaker. I just really enjoyed his character. I would like, if they continue with the series, I forgot what it's called. Is it like Uphill, something like that series? It's like a school name, I think. If they continue with that, I would like to hear from Henry, or I believe his name was JJ. I liked Henry the most. But another one of my favorite characters was Waylay from Things We Never Got Over. She was described as, I think, how old was she? 11-year-old going on 30. And that girl, she was too smart for her own good. Like, when she was charging people for helping them, I was like, yes, niece. Like, you know exactly what the fuck to do. Loved her. She was hilarious. Her and her Annie with like the vegetables in the swear jar. I lived. Lastly, but not least, would be for my favorite characters was Willa and Luke from Heartless. Willa was Luke's nanny, and it was a single dad book. I don't know if I've talked about it at all because I read it in May, but it was amazing. I loved their dynamic together, and I love them separately as well. Like, Willa is really that girl. I loved her down. And then Luke, he's hilarious. He's hilarious. I don't know. In real life, I don't really like when kids swear at all. I just feel like it's not appropriate. But like reading them in books is just so funny to me. Like it's actually hilarious because I just realized Waylay and Luke, they're both way too young to be cussing. I mean, Luke weighs way more because I think he's like 6 or below and she's 11. So she's almost a middle school kid, which like a lot of kids start cussing at that age or earlier. Kids with like really big personalities is what I like to read. I don't like to read like 2-year-olds. I don't want to hear no baby talk. I'm gonna be honest with you. The next question is books that made you cry. I'm not gonna expand on this, but I would like you to read them and figure out why I cried. Maybe. The first one is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, and then the second one is Felix Ever After by Kason Calendar. I'll tell you about the Felix Ever After reason. I believe I talked a little bit about it in my June wrap-up because I read it in June. Oh, I don't want to spoil. That's why I didn't want to talk about this. Something that happened with his dad towards the end really made me cry. I wrote in my journal, who's cutting fucking onions? I feel like you should read the book if you haven't already and cry with me. The next question is book that made you happy. And I only have one right now, only because the books that I really enjoyed, sometimes they piss me off, like what the people went through. I was trying to reflect on the books that I really liked, but like saying something made me happy, I don't know. Because a lot of the books were just like betrayal, secrets, drama, angst, tension. Does that make me happy? Yes. But I think the book that evoked the most happiness as an emotion for me was Make It Sweet by Kristen Callahan. Because even when I was pissed off, it was sweet. Just like the book title suggests. I loved it. It made me really happy. And I think I mentioned in that June wrap up when I talked about it, my mom bakes a lot. So like when people bake or cook with love, it's really near and dear to my heart. I really enjoy reading stuff like that. I don't know if y'all did, but I grew up on Food Network. I love reading about like baking competitions, which I need to read more about that. Read more stuff like that. Like, I love hearing people get creative and just making a spin on their favorite recipes and just the stories behind why they make what they make. If it was like family members that like brought down a recipe, I just love shit like that. And then the last question that I'll be answering today is, what books do you really want to read this year? I have like 8, I believe. So the first book that I have is the Part of Your World series by Abby Jimenez. And I love Little Mermaid. I've always loved Little Mermaid, the original one and then the one with Halle Bailey, so much. I'd really like to read this book series. A lot of people have been talking about Yours Truly, and that's the one that's actually come out this year, I believe. I think the first one, Part of Your World, came out last year, but I haven't read it yet, and I would like to read them both together sometime, if not this month, next month. And then next I have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Why not? I would like to read it. I don't really have anything to compare it to because I've only read like up to book 2 or book 3 of that book series that I don't talk about, with that lady I don't talk about. That was like when I was like in middle school, and like I watched some of the movies, but I wasn't really like allowed to. So a lot of people compare it to a certain series that I'm not really well acquainted with. So I'm excited to like base it off of my own like first impressions. I mean, I'm doing this, it would be a first impression, but yeah, without any influence, basically, that's what I'm trying to say. The next book that I'm excited to read about this year is Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. I heard someone describe it yesterday, and I can't remember who I watched on YouTube. I'll try to like remember and put it up on the screen, but the way they explained it, I was like, hell yeah, I want to read that real bad. The next book would be Keep Her Safe by QB Tyler. It just seems really interesting. Like sometimes whenever I listen to people's wrap-ups and they describe the book, I like skip through the summary because I don't want to know too much. Like sometimes I just want to be like shocked. I'm not ever just like really like, oh, I can't believe that happened. I mean, it's happened, but it doesn't happen a lot, especially when it comes to a romance. Like I'm not like shook a lot of the time. Like I usually can figure out what's supposed to happen, who's gonna do what. Anyway, it seemed interesting, so I'd like to read that. The next book is We Deserve Monuments by Jazz Hammonds. I remember Kenya from Lily Reads talking about it when she did her queer literature video. I forget what she called it, but her video that was basically about queer characters, she talked about that, and I really would like to read it. The next book would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've been hearing about V.E. Schwab like for years. I feel like the first time I heard about V.E. Schwab, I was maybe like 18, 17. So like at this point, this is like 5-6 years ago now. And I've never read anything by them. And I've had people that have different book tastes to me and then people that have similar book tastes to me. I've heard them go on and on about this book. So I don't even really know what it's about. I guess it's about an invisible life of Addie LaRue, child. But I don't know what it's about, but I've heard V.E. Schwab is a very respected author. So I'd like to see what this book is about and if I'd enjoy it. The last book that I have that I would like to read this year is The Serpents. This is a hard title. I don't think I wrote this down right. The Serpents and the Wings of Night? Because I have The Serpents, The Wings. The Serpents and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. The little that I have heard about this book has been like raving reviews. Like I gotta get my hands on this. It's a fantasy book and I'm trying to get more into fantasy. I read a lot of fantasy when I was in middle school and I'd like to get back into that because I think it's really fun. But sometimes I can admit that fantasy seems a little daunting to me because romance is just like usually pretty smooth and easy to read. But when there's like world building and like all these things I have to remember, I just get like lost in like that instead of like enjoying the plot and like what's going on. All right, so that concludes my mid-year book freakout tag. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would like to know you guys' answers to the questions down below in the comments. If not, please comment your booktube and I'll try to check out your video as well. I really enjoyed this tag. I love tags. Again, they remind me so much of the beginning of YouTube and just, I don't know, community. Everything that I love about YouTube reminds me of, like, tags remind me of everything good about YouTube, honestly. So I'm really happy to partake in this. I can't remember who the original creator was, but if I do, I'll try to put that up on the screen or in the description box. I really appreciate whoever made it. Thank you so much. I had a fun time. This tag is really what motivated me to make my booktube channel. I have been watching booktube since I was 17 or 18, and I only just now became interested in making it because I binge watched like people I didn't know, people I did know. I watched like over 50 mid-year book freakout tags just from this year, and I just had to get this out there. Like it's July 8th as I'm filming this today, so I don't know when I'll actually have this out, but I just knew I had to post this. Like I knew this was it. Again, thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see any future content if you'd like to see my face again. And again, thank you so much. Bye.